Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are and whenever watching this, welcome to a new vlog. Just after editing, I realized that I missed the intro. We don't want to miss that, right? Let's get to the video. So that's the bike that's on OLX. The links in the description, you can check out every detail there. Just got it serviced recently, maintained it well. Hardly used that bike here. I got it in August 2018 and for almost 6 months I was in Canada, and then for 3 weeks I was in bed and in the lockdown. So pretty much I think 1 year that bike was hardly used. Matlab didn't take it out, but I kept it in good condition, so always turn it on every 15-20 days. So the bike is in pristine condition. You can check it in person, but only for serious buyers. I got one person who wanted to pay cash. I said no, that I can't take cash. Still waiting for buyers for that. I will sell it only if I get a good deal. Otherwise I'll keep it, because even if I get the Aether 450, I can still use this, because Aether 450X can be used by my wife or any of my family members. This only I can ride. Today's video is like about actually the Nexon EV range testing. So gonna test it on the highway and in the city conditions. I know pretty much how much to expect, because I've been riding it in the city for the last 6,000 kilometers. And so 2 kilometers per 1% of discharge in the battery is pretty normal. Want to see it on the highway too. So gonna do that, and also maybe if possible check out a new charging station. We have tested it under 2 charging stations, one in Sanat Nagar and the other one in Somajiguda. Maybe there is one in Athapur and one is in Kompally. We don't know if we'll get a chance to do that, but let's see. First, let's get on the road and do the range test, okay? So we have 210 kilometers of range, 100% battery capacity. I've reset the trip meter, and also the average is in watt hours per kilometer. I'll explain you in a short while why it's in watt hours per kilometer and not the typical kilometers per liter or kilometers per watt hour. You can actually see the graph here. Whenever I'm releasing the brake, the graph is coming down, but it's not going below that blue line. Whenever I give a quick acceleration, it goes up, but the two lines, there is a blue line and a red line, right? So it doesn't come below the blue line under 96%. Once it comes below 96, that's when regen starts working and the line actually goes, and the graph actually goes below that line. That's regeneration for you. I think there is still some regen happening, but it's not as aggressive. I don't know what the impact of that on the brakes. That is something I need to typically test, because I hardly changed brakes till 20,000 on my Elantra. So this should easily last more. So I don't know if brake regen has an effect on the brake pads. That is something we can only tell over time, right? Also, did you notice how the average efficiency is coming down from what 190s, 180s, it is at 175. The lowest it has gone for me is 127 watt hours per kilometer. So talking about the efficiency, the reason they have it in watt hours per kilometer and not kilometers per liter is pretty obvious, right? There is no liters of usage of petrol or diesel. It's the battery. Watt hour is the capacity that is being used. So one question a lot of people had is, why couldn't they give it in kilometers per watt hour, so that the conversion or understanding of people who are used to kilometers per liter would be easy if they're transitioning to an electric vehicle. The reason for that, I think, this is just my opinion guys, is just that typically the usage costs are calculated in rupees per kilometer. So if you want to calculate how much it's costing you for EV, because the main point of an EV is to save on the usage cost, like the running cost. So if you have watt hours per kilometer, it can be easy to understand how many watt hours you consume. Let's say one unit costs you 10-12 rupees. If you're using 1 watt of power, then the calculation is easy. So this car takes up 30 kilowatts of power for a full capacity. That would be equivalent to 30 units of power. So 30 units of power would be, let's say 12 rupees on the highest tier. That would be 360 or 300 rupees. This gives me a range of 200 kilometers. So that's a calculation of 1.5 rupees per kilometer. That's at the highest level. At the lowest level, I think our unit cost is around 8 rupees or something. So for me, it would cost 240 rupees for a full range of 200 kilometers. So that's where it varies based on how much each unit costs you. Because for having an electric vehicle, you need to increase your load capacity, I guess. We were in the 3 kilowatt range. We upgraded it to 6 kilowatts so that we have enough space for this. That is something the electrician would suggest you based on the consumption of the power. That's the reason why I think they have watt hours per kilometer instead of kilometers per watt hour. But that's a point where both sides have a valid argument. I think they could just give an option to switch that, so that would make it easy for a lot of people. Because 146 watt hours per kilometer seems like a big number, but in actuality it's not. Okay, now that we are at a signal light, so this is the lowest it has ever gone to, 124 watt hours per kilometer. So we have consumed 3% of the battery and traveled almost 9.3 kilometers, guys. That's a lot actually. That never happened before. Probably because of the range test, I guess. I was driving it very conservatively, like not crossing beyond 50, 60, which is reasonable because in the city you won't go beyond that. But it's just that in the city you would have a lot of stop and go traffic, bumper to bumper traffic, so the range varies a lot. So realistic range that I observed before was not more than 2 kilometers per 1%. You remember what I was talking about, that graph coming below that blue line? Battery percentage is around 96, and look how the graph is coming below that blue line. So whenever I keep my foot off the accelerator, that's when the regen starts, or whenever I brake. Just entering the ORR, so we have consumed 4% of battery for 11 kilometers. This is a very conservative, very mild usage of the accelerator and power. So that is, it has now come to 95. So 5% of battery for 11 kilometers. So that's slightly about 2 kilometers per percent. But in general, if you're riding normally, this is close to normal. It's just that I've been little cautious on the pedal, but you can expect 2 kilometers per 1%. That's in the city. Now let's see how much is the highway usage. Okay, I'll try probably 10-15 kilometers and come back. Just came to 90% on the highway. When we started, it was 95% of battery capacity and 11.1 or something was the odo. Now it's at 90% and 23.6 kilometers. So that's roughly 12.5 kilometers for 5%. Here I'm cruising somewhere between 70 to 80. Without cruise control, it's hard to maintain a certain speed. But I think if you have cruise control, this would easily give around 1.75 to 1.8 on the highway. Just came through the airport toll booth and we have come to 85%. So that's 10% of battery discharge, and the kilometer reading is around 34 kilometers. When we started, it was around 11.2 or 3, almost 23 kilometers for 10% of usage on the highway. But if you have noticed, the efficiency was coming down. When we started on the highway, it was 125 something. When I was just about to enter the exit, it was around 130, 132. It came down because I used the brake. Takeaway from this highway run is that whenever you're cruising on expressways, you hardly brake at all, so there is less regen. So initially you might get high range because you're maintaining a consistent speed, but let's say you're going at 80, constantly cruising, the range comes down a lot more. And I think the lowest it can go at around that speed is around 1.75 kilometers per 1%. The efficiency calculation is pretty accurate on this. That is the big change in the update. Previously it was not accurate. We'll again do a return run on the highway. We'll see how much it has come down. Just gonna take a U-turn at the airport and then go back. We'll do the same route basically so that you get an idea of, because that would be half and half, right? When we started, the range was 210 kilometers. Now it is 185. So technically we should have used up only 25 kilometers, but the trip shows 37 kilometers. Range to empty is not the most accurate thing. It is just for reference. You need to look at the watt hours per kilometer consumption and the area that you would be going next, or the route that you will be taking in the future. So let's say you are on the highway, you are anticipating going through the city. Let's say you have 10 kilometers of range to empty. It might actually go up to 15 in real world, because in city you would have a lot more regen. But let's say you have 10 kilometers in the city and you need to go 15 kilometers on the highway, you might end up getting only 7.5 kilometers. So that is something very important to keep note of it. Each electric vehicle have a different type of consumption rate and different software systems. So on Aether I found the range much more accurate. On this, not the range, but the watt hour calculation, the efficiency calculation is much better. I missed the exit which goes towards Gachibowli from the airport. I took the one which goes to Vijayawada. Probably this won't be the most accurate distance to home, but still we can get an idea of how much the range is on the highway. Originally I wanted to actually do the entire circle of ORR. I don't think I can do it. The range to empty shows I can. We have 79% of a battery. But it's just boring, guys, just riding it on the same highway. Maybe we'll do that entire range testing, emptying to zero some other point of time. Probably once we have more charging stations. Currently there are 6 or 5 charging stations in Hyderabad. So that completes the range test, guys. Consumed 43% of capacity, battery capacity, traveled 98.7 kilometers to airport and back. So that's almost 2.3 kilometers per 1%. That's quite a lot actually. I didn't expect to do that much. But as I said, this is under certain conditions where the AC blower was always at 1 and temperature was 24, which is sufficient. And I didn't check the tire pressures, but they should be around 34, 33. And I didn't cross 85 max. That's the speed that I reached, and it was, the traffic was also very less, so the conditions and your luck might vary. But within the city, in the last stretch it was around 8% and we got 18.7 kilometers, so that's quite a lot. And I think when I look at the average efficiency calculation, which is the most accurate thing, on the highway it showed me 133 watt hours per kilometer. In the city it is showing around 129 watt hours per kilometer. Mind you, this is the average for the entire ride. It's not just for the city or the highway. And also I didn't test the sports mode because the purpose of this test was to check the maximum efficiency that I can get and the maximum range I could get from this car. So those are the ride statistics from the app that Tata gives for this car, and it's a connected car. So as I showed you in the previous videos, you can do a lot more. Hope you got an idea what's the range of this car within the city and on the highway. So this is the final chart that I calculated to understand the combination of the city and the highway separately. Hope this video is helpful, guys. Just wanted to give you a brief idea about how much, what's the range of this car under normal circumstances. These are close to normal, not ideally normal, because during normal times I'd probably accelerate and decelerate much faster, brake little harshly. So this was slightly controlled, not completely. And also I didn't test the sports mode because the purpose of this test was to check out the maximum range possible in this car. But in my experience before, in sports mode the range varies anywhere between 1.25 to 1.75 kilometers per 1% of battery. So that's what you can expect from this car in sports mode, irrespective of being in highway or the city, because there will be a lot of hard acceleration and deceleration. The region could also be higher in sports mode, and on the highway it wouldn't matter. In the city that's when you would use the sports mode, but it consumes much more battery capacity than in the regular drive mode. So that's it, guys. That's it for today's range test video. Hope you liked it. Let me know what you think in the comment section, and in case you're watching this on night time, have a good night and take care. Bye bye.